Hey, I'm Seth Johnson with Land House, and you are watching the Playhouse Build Series. In this video, I'm building the staircase to get up to the playhouse. Hope you enjoy. To get started with this staircase build, I have two 8-foot 2x6s set up against the side of the playhouse base. I'm going to be making a 45-degree cut here on the top of these two boards so that it will meet up flush with the building side. Let's do that first. I'm going to use a speed square to make this cut. I'm going to line the 45 up on the end of the board, make a mark. And now I can offset this a little bit and use it as a guide for my circular saw. Now, because the ground is not quite level here, I've actually cut off 5 inches from the bottom. Your setup may be a little different, but I'm just cutting off 5 inches to bring the board down from here to here. It's the same 45-degree cut from before. That one was here on the end, but I actually want to move down 5 inches, so I'm just going to take where that previous line or cut would have been and come down 5 inches. And that should give us the removed 5 inches that we need here. So far so good. Have those boards on the ground and then up here. I may actually dig out a little bit on the ground and put a paver stone under them just to keep the water from being on them all the time, just from the ground contact. Because the first cut was at a 45, it makes everything else a lot easier. Every step is going to be 10 inches apart. So the first one is already done here, which I've come down and marked 10 inches. So let's move on to the second one here. I'm going to mark 20 inches, and then I'm going to come down again at 21 inches. The reason for that is I can take my speed square from, let's see, the bottom here and match up that line, draw across, and that's going to be a level line on the board. Come down to the next one here, mark again. Okay, now I can take a combination square, and because this board is 5.5 inches, I've taken 2 3/4 inch, and from the top I can mark out here wherever this line intersects with the other one is going to be the midway point of the board on that line. So what I want to do is take my drill. So now, taking an 1/8 inch bit, I'm going to place right here in the middle of the bottom line and drill a hole. Taking a 3-inch screw from the other side, just going to go through here so that it barely shows. Okay, and that's the place I'm going to put the halfway mark of my 2x6 step. My steps are going to be 2 feet, so just going to mark out here and cut a 2-foot 2x6. With my square still set at 2.5 inches, I'm going to find the center of this board on both ends. Now, to find the line that goes straight up from this middle post that we've just made, I can use my speed square, sliding up here, and that will tell me a midpoint up from the screw that I can use to mark out where the board is going to go. So just sliding the board into position here, I'm going to match up the top line with the top of the board, and also matching up the line that was just drawn. So I can take my screw through that position. Now there's a single screw in the middle point of those two steps. Obviously that's not going to hold anybody up, but it's going to allow me to spin this up or down to find level. So first of all, I'm going to, off camera, put in the rest of these steps until I have all 8 of them installed, and we'll come back and level this out. Now the ladder is propped up here against the side of the Playhouse, and because of the angle, it shouldn't take much to prevent this from going anywhere. So I'm going to put 3 nails in here. Go ahead and pre-drill just to make sure nothing splits. And then later I'll be putting a metal bracket on here also, just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. With the screw in the front and the 3 nails in the back, I don't see this going anywhere, but just as a safety measure, I'm going to be using this metal bracket, and that's just going to be here to make sure that this doesn't go anywhere. So just to make sure that the rail here doesn't split, I'm going to put just a couple of little pilot holes just to get this screw started. And I'm going to go ahead and put just some 1 1/4 screws here. Now these are exterior screws, of course. Just going to fill this plate up to make sure that it's nice and secure. Now that I know the stairs are firmly secured to the base, it's time to get the steps level. So I'm just going to stick my level up here, and some of these may be a little bit tight, so you may have to use your adjustment tool. Too far. There we go. Now I'm just going to be using an 1/8 inch drill bit to go into my rail here. Now it's time to install the railing. I've got these 36-inch balusters that have the angled cut on both ends. So I'm just going to be making my rail at about the 36-inch mark. So let's jump into that real quick. And as you can see, I already have the first one done to use as a reference. I've got an 8-foot 2x4 that I'm going to cut into 2 36-inch pieces. And this will be the supports upwards on the rail, if that makes sense. To prevent the board from splitting, I'm just putting a pre-drilled hole here. I'm going to go ahead and get started with a 3-inch screw. Using the speed square, I'm going to put this right up against the base here, and I'm going to mark at the 3-inch mark. And then I can actually use my diagonal to draw a line down. And that's going to be the edge that that 2x4 goes on. Now I'll be using a level to make sure this is in there correctly in just a moment. But for now I just need to get this leveled up here. Okay, I'm going to get my 2x4 into position here. The back corner is going to be lined up with the bottom of the step, just like that. I'm just going to go ahead and get that single screw put in there. And that'll just hold things into place so I can use the level to level this out. Okay, using a level here. All right, that's where I want it. So time to just fill this thing up with some screws. I'm going to put 5 in here total. Now I want 55 inches between the back side of this board to the front side of the other. So I'm just going to measure out the 55 here. Now at the speed square, I can set this up, line it to that bottom mark, and draw that line. So that's where the front side of that 2x4 is going to be. Just going to line the other 36-inch board up on this line here. Now I have a 10-foot 2x4 that I want to cut in half, so 2 5-foot lengths here. This 5-foot board is to go on the inside. It's a little awkward to work with here, but I want it to be about midway point here, and then just above the top. And to make this easy to drill a screw into, I'm just going to kind of mark out here just a little a spot so I can see where to do a pre-drill hole. I find it super helpful to go ahead and start a screw in there so you can get it into position. Okay, just looking on this other side here where I made those markings, matching up the top roughly, and then just going to put this in here for now. Okay, and that'll let me go up to the top and get the other side. Okay, from the top, I'm just going to make sure that this is slightly above this other post here. Now for the balusters, I'm going to use pre-drill hole again, and then putting a 2.5-inch screw into each of these. Turn it around and do the same on all of them. I need 6 total for this staircase. Now, using the speed square from my top post, I'm going to come over 4 inches and make a mark there. And then I can use my diagonal again to just draw that line down. And then let's go up to the top. I'm going to do the same thing where I use my speed square to come out 4 inches and then use that diagonal to draw the line down. And that's going to be the location of the outside of the baluster. So I want to just make sure it's down from the top by about 1/4 inch or so. And then I can just use a single screw to hold that in there. Now back at the bottom, I want to just use my speed square to make sure that this is correct at the 4-inch mark, and it is. And then just get this piece screwed in. And there we have it. That's the first of the 6 balusters. So I'm just going to continue that process until I have all of those done. Now that I have all the balusters in, the last step is to put the top on, and that's where the other half of that 10-foot board comes in. So to get this started, I'm just going to be pre-drilling here. Drop you down so you can see a bit better. So every about 1 foot, I'm just going to put a new hole in here. I think I started off just a little bit off from the top. Then I'm just going to be using the 3-inch screws again. Go ahead and get them started. Okay, just going to line up the bottom. Slide this up here. And that concludes the staircase build for the Playhouse. Let me give you a closer look. I decided not to put the railing all the way down here to the bottom. I figured that kids might want to run back up quick, and the slide is actually going to come off right here. So they can slide down and just run back up there, and the railing won't be in their way. So I've got everything lined up. 4 inches is the maximum distance you can have on these balusters, and so definitely try to keep within that whenever you're building yours. I feel like the 5 screws on the bottom there will be sufficient, and then 1 in each of those balusters. Definitely want to come back with some sandpaper and pull off some of these sharp edges. Let's take a look up here at the top. Now, if for some reason you feel like your steps are still not sturdy enough, you can put some blocking up under here with another screw or nail to give it more support. But I'm 200 pounds and there is zero movement currently in these steps. I'm definitely going to come back and paint this. Now the other railing will come up right here, and I may just extend just a little bit to make sure that this is covered as well, but for now I think it's going to work quite well. It's a good height for someone that's my height. Thank you so much for watching this Playhouse build video. If you've enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up button and be sure to subscribe. There are several more videos in this series on the way. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.